You wake up, check your phone, and before your feet even hit the floor, you're scrolling through perfectly filtered lives, AI-generated images, and targeted ads that somehow know what you were thinking about yesterday. And somewhere in that infinite feed, something feels off. Not fake in a science fiction way, but in a quieter, harder to explain way. Moments pass too fast, memories blur together, and life starts to feel like it's happening behind a pane of glass. If you've noticed this, you aren't alone. Millions of people are reporting this exact same growing sense that the world no longer feels fully solid. Psychologists actually have a clinical term for this phenomenon. It's called derealization, a state where the external world suddenly feels dreamlike, distant, or completely scripted. For most of human history, reality didn't feel like this. It was immediate. You woke up with the sun, you recognized the people around you, and your brain processed real danger, real faces, and real silence. Your world was small, but it was undeniably grounded. Today, we carry instantaneous access to the entire globe in our pockets, yet that exact infinite access is what has stripped away our feeling of a tangible reality. To understand why this happens, we have to look at how the brain processes information. Your brain doesn't actually experience the physical world directly. It constructs reality by interpreting electrical signals, building a model of the world. What feels real is a controlled hallucination created by your nervous system. Usually, it works beautifully, processing limited inputs, immediate threats, local weather, and your small community. Our nervous systems were quite literally built for survival in quiet, physical environments like the savanna, places defined by stillness, biological scale, and concrete stakes. Now compare that baseline to a modern morning. Before you finish breakfast, your brain absorbs millions of opinions, simulated global tragedies, endless algorithmic arguments, and countless digital illusions. Your biological hardware cannot handle infinite stimulation. Subjected to a constant barrage of global data, the brain becomes overloaded. The rendering process starts to buffer, and reality fragments. That pervasive sense of unreality is the sound of your brain actively crashing under the weight of a massive evolutionary mismatch. But technology's impact on our biological hardware is only half the equation. The other reason modern life feels artificial is that we rarely experience life directly anymore. We experience representations of it. This shift began decades ago, when screens first entered our homes. We could sit safely in a quiet living room while simultaneously watching intense war footage playing out in a box. We started substituting immediate physical presence for distant broadcasts. Over time, the instinct to document overtook the instinct to participate. We spend our time looking at the world through viewfinders and screens, capturing moments as content for invisible audiences. The actual experience loses its texture. Life itself begins to feel staged. Our algorithmic filters have since replaced that shared world with hyper-personalized feeds, specifically optimized to hold your attention. Because of this, two people can exist in the exact same physical space, search the exact same topic, and receive completely different information, different facts, different outrage, different truths. When everyone lives inside entirely separate, highly customized digital silos, the shared foundation of society disappears. It's no wonder the world outside those bubbles suddenly feels surreal and disconnected. All of this comes down to the mechanics of focus. Your attention and your reality are deeply linked. Whatever successfully holds your attention literally becomes your lived experience. And right now, the modern economy runs on human distraction. Apps compete for your focus. Platforms engineer constant engagement. And notifications are specifically designed to interrupt your silence before a thought can fully form. The psychological consequence of this constant hijacking is a society full of people who are mentally everywhere at once, yet rarely fully present in the room they are sitting in. If you find yourself opening your phone for 5 minutes only to lose an hour, and then feeling like your life lacks depth, you aren't broken. That feeling of unreality is actually a vital warning signal from your nervous system. And the cure, supported by neuroscience, requires intentionally slowing down your attention, getting outside into nature, sitting in silence, and leaning into unmediated moments that exist entirely without an audience. Objective reality hasn't disappeared. It is still there, resting quietly underneath all the artificial noise. We just have to put down the content long enough to actually experience being human again.